Hi there, it's Kevin with Rogue Market here with a fun little one. I know it's been a while since I've done anything on this channel. I had a patron of mine that wanted me to open up a collector booster case, so that's 6 of these suckers, and do a video on it. And I started to do it, and the video was already at like an hour long. And so I decided just to open the rest of it and sort it into piles of where the value is. So I pulled all the cards that are above like $3. And then I will show you the breakdowns of it and see if we actually made a profit from, or my patron did. So shout outs to Steel Wolf. And I can already tell they did make profit. So you can see the cost of this box or the case is $1,920 because the I believe each booster box for distributor price is $320. I believe they're going for around the 390s on TCG Player. So just a spoiler alert, there is a lot of value to be lost from collector boosters. Now, again, this is the first day it's legal. I think there's pre-release going on at stores right now, so this is the first time people are actually start, mass box opening these. And the cards that have fallen the most right off the gate, so I did prices earlier and I've already adjusted some of them, are the Commander. So a lot of the cards from the Commander set that you do get in the collectors, they are getting kind of the double whammy of everyone opening up their collectors. And there was a inverted EV from the Commander decks, and I think there's been some other big YouTubers like Rudy that talked about how there's inverted EV on Commander decks. So Commander decks were just like crazily purchased and opened, and of course now that's going to the secondary market, and of course now that's affecting that slot in the collector boosters, because you can get collector or Commander cards from your I think you can get them in the play boosters too, but you can't. You get them in the collector booster. So I was going to show like an opening of 1 or 2, but there's plenty of YouTube channels that can show you exactly what you get from the collector booster. So I thought I'd do something different and just show the breakdown. So there's my evidence of opening up the entire case. And we'll get rid of my ugly mug here, and we will go ahead and start showing the breakdowns here. So this is all the cards. So basically, the cards that are under $3, they fit in like this almost this 1,000 count box. And there's usually like pull cards that are worth over $1. This set is insane. It's like every common card is playable. Every uncommon card. There's very few filler in this. They really pushed it with this set. That many of these cards are going to see Pauper play. Many of them are going to see Modern play even. And a lot of them are going to see Commander play because they have a lot of unique abilities of kind of splicing together two things like Adapt and Energy together. Like there's cards that just really push the limits of what they can do with those particular cards. It's like they took cards of yesteryears that didn't quite hit the spot, and they bumped them up or added some little additional like an Eldrazi spawn to it or something to just make it so push it over the top is what I'm talking about. And I think that a lot of them are going to be worth money. I'm going to say that with a grain of salt there, because we saw it happen in Modern Horizons 2. I doubt that this set will be printed to the same print run levels of Modern Horizons 2. For rumor mill, as Modern Horizons 2 is one of the most printed sets of all time, you can still get it at distributor price. It's one of the most powerful sets of all time as well. But that was 2 years ago was the start of what we call the overprinting hell that we saw with 2021 to 2023. So I think Modern Horizons 3 might actually age in the long term, because of course now Modern Horizons 2 is old, and so just how scarcity works in collectibles in cardboard, where you got to think of all the cards that have been damaged, or all the cards that have just been lost or in collections now that aren't in the market. And now we're having a ton of cards from Modern Horizons 3 that are coming to the market. So right now, Modern Horizons 3 has more probably available, or will have more available cards that are available for market. But in the future, I think when comparing the two, I would be very surprised if they're like Modern Horizons 3 doesn't age better than Modern Horizons 2, just based on the fact that there's probably going to be less of a print run. That's what I'm guessing. And that's like, if you're comparing the last few sets of what they've done with print runs compared to the ones they did the year before, they've cut back. That's my speculation anyway. Of course, Wizards of the Coast is very tight knit on releasing numbers of their print runs, and so it's all a guessing game. So anyway, without further ado, let's get down to the breakdown. So I'm just gonna pull a pile out at a time. We'll talk about it, and then I'll add the money into the little sidebar here, and then we can get and see if we actually profit or not. So I actually haven't added this up, but just from eyeballing it, I 100% think that there's going to be like $3 to $4 grand worth of cards in this collector booster, which is pretty crazy. So these are the etched foils. that we are. I'm going to adjust the lighting real quick here so we get a better lighting. And hopefully that is better. And that way we can get going here. There we go. Now we have hopefully better lighting to see everything here. So again, all these cards are over $3. I try to put them in ascending order. At first, I like put them in even bigger piles of like, oh, all these cards are worth $3 or more. But these are the cards that are actually worth money out of the set. Cards like Necrobloom. Well, let's go through them pretty quick. Crick, Son of Yawgmoth. Open up so many of these with all the different versions of the cards. We have the Nadu Winged Wisdom. This card's actually very popular. Had a pretty good price tag in all of its versions. And Ophelia, the Ashling Flame Dancer, which was actually quite pricey with the etched foils. The Genku, Roshin, the Imskir, and Satya. And I think they were in descending or ascending order. But that came out to $74, and I was using TCG Player at the time, just creating cards to the lowest cards. So it's almost like TCG low for many of these cards. And again, the prices are changing crazy. I had to readjust the Commander ones, and they dropped already by 50% when I was readjusting them. When I went through them yesterday, and now was going through and then just making sure I had everything right on this video. So right now we can go over to the value and of this one. And so far we have $74 in the slot for the etched foil. And we'll get to the profit here in a second. 1920 buy. We'll do it at the end. We'll show it at the end here. I don't want to be editing throughout this video, so I apologize for the kind of on the wing in this. I could be a little more organized to do this video. So this was the retro foil slot here, or just the retro foils. And this actually these have some really good cards in them. I'm surprised at how a lot of these cards actually are not worth a lot. And these, reprinting of these particular cards are actually just making the rest of the cards go down in value. So, yeah, because like I said, Modern Horizons 2 still has a lot of supply. This particular one's from Modern Horizons 1. So you have the Munition Experts and things like that, and the Sling Gang Commanders, and Unholy Heats. And then we have the Tyler's Provisioners. So these retro foils, these were all worth above $3. And then we have like the Dragon Rage Chandlers, which the normal ones are in here too, because I believe all of these were like $3 to $4. And so this slot was pretty good out of the case too. And so this was worth $54 for this slot. So we can go ahead and add 54 to the mix, which puts us at 128. So 128 is our new value of this, just out of these. I guess that's the etched and the retro at the moment. So these ones too, like I separate all these together because there are just different types of wastes in here. So we have $48 worth of wastes, and it looks like I got like 2 of every version out of a case. So we got 2 foils, 2 retros, 2 full art foils, and 2 of the retro foils. And the prices did vary quite a bit. I think that was like the retro foils were worth the most out of these, but that added another $48 to the mix of this one, which puts us at, what's that, 136 plus, so $48 would be 176 for this. My math might be off here, and then you guys can let me know in the comments afterwards. But again, this will just kind of give us a... so this, again, not really even getting to the really good stuff. So we'll set aside... I'm going to put the medallions. We'll set aside the medallions for now. All right, so here's some good ones here that we're going to go through. So here's all the $5 cards in the foil. So you have the foil slot rare, which has a card in every pack. And we have some $4, $5. So there's 13 $5 cards, 4 $4 cards. There are 11 $3 cards. They're kind of all marked out here. And there were 6 $5 cards, 7 or 2 $7 cards, 2 $8 cards, and 4 $9 cards in the foil slot. So we'll just kind of go over these $9 ones, as you can see. So like Aether Volt and Guide of Souls. These are the more expensive ones. I'm not going to go through the packet here of these other ones, but you can see that these lots of really good hits out of even this slot. And so that totaled $86 from the $6 to $9 range cards that we got out of this slot. And this is just, you get one of these, and this is a bunch of times in collectors, these are the suckers where the vast majority of them become worthless. because, or at least, and the foil multiplier is worthless for this. So the normal cards you get out of play boosters versus the foil, there's not going to be a foil multiplier because of how collectors have just done that. When you make everything special, nothing is special. And when you make foils common, they become just as common as a regular version. In fact, in my store, we actually run out of the normal ones and we have like a bunch of foils left over. So if you add $86 to our mix of, which puts us at 180, 182, what was that, 262 that we are at now. I should get a calculator here. We'll do a calculator so Kevin doesn't have to do any thinking in this video. So 176 plus 86. Yep, we're at 262 with the new value of our collectors. And again, there's some good ones in here for like the $3 cards, a good range of $3 cards here. I can kind of show off these cards. Kind of dark over here. See if I can get this some more light over to our, yep, so the good old Necro Bloom there. And again, there's a bunch of $5 cards that were in this slot. And again, this is quite interesting for this particular collector's booster, because typically this is like the slot that gets absolutely murdered unless there are cards that are good out of a set. So we have a $65, 65 from this slot, and another 16, which puts us at 343 is our running total for this, the rares. So we've kind of done the slots that usually don't matter that often in these ones, where you don't get the big money. All right, so the next slot we have, oh, there's more slots. Okay, this is all, I'll show this. So this is the stuff that is over $10. So all the foils over $10. And so we have the Springheart and Tuco, the Flares of Fortitude, lots of Flares, Fanatic of Veronis, Volto Stormdrake, Flare of Cultivation, Flare of Malice. I think these are going in ascending orders. So these are between $20 and $10. This War and Soul Trader has actually, and I actually checked. So I was kind of skeptical of these prices. I'm like, okay, maybe everyone's just like listing these and nothing's selling. Things are selling. Things are selling like crazy from this set. And yes, prices are coming down, but I was very surprised at just the sell rate of these cards. That is another $142 in that card of the cards were worth over $10. So plus 142 by those puts us at 485 for our new total for the still in the foil slot. So 485 is our new total. And then we have the good stuff. So this is everything over in that foil slot, everything over $10. So we have the X of Eternity, which I think was were these over $20? I can't remember. Yeah, that was between the 10 and 20 slot. We have Echoes of Eternity. We're down like the Flare of Denial, which I think was like $24. We have Nethergoyf that's up there too. And the Oscillate Pride, Sorin, Birthing Ritual, Ajani, and two Ajanis actually in there. And the total of this sucker was $206 in the foil rare slot over $10. So it's actually, each one of these is becoming more pricey. So you'd think that, you have a ton of like $5 cards would add up. But these, the more chase cards, are actually a big chunk of this. So if we add plus 206 to this, we are now up to $691 of cards. Next up, so now I've got a big packet of stuff. So this is all of the retros. So all of the retro uncommons, and these are all priced. So these are ones you want to look for. So it's all the uncommons are worth money. So the cards that are worth money right now in this particular we want to pull out that are uncommons are It That Heralds the End. We have Priest Titanium. These are all over the place. Like some versions sell for less for some particular cards and some for more. Meltdowns, Priest of Titanium, Monstrous Vortex, Mirren Apprentice. You should see the sales for this sucker. I mean, it's another blood artist you can put in Commander. So we have the Metastic Evangel, and the Null Elemental Blast, and then I believe it's like Buried Alive in Urza's Cave, Vexing Bauble, Cephalid Coliseum, and then Urza's Cave is a big one. These actually have sold like crazy because, tutoring any land is a pretty neat ability just for an uncommon card. So this big stack of this slot of uncommons, and again, this was only the cards that were selling around $3 a pop, $3 or more. This I give or take gave it around $200 of what the uncommon slot was going to give you out of the collector case. And that's actually very substantial. And I was saying no, this has to be, something's got to be off. So I looked at sales data for most of these, and they are selling like crazy. So this adds another $200, and that puts us at $891 is our new total for this. We're up to 891, so we're almost halfway there. And what I would like to say is typically the slots in the collectors that don't really matter. Like this isn't where your big bulk of your money's coming from, and this has already eaten up almost half, almost 40% of the value. So we'll get to this one last. So this one's kind of more boring. It's kind of a weird slot that you get in Commanders. Let me find another slot here that we can pull up. So then we have, let's go in order here. It's fine. So we have this slot here. This is a weird slot in the collectors. So this is a slot that has commander cards that have no treatment. And it's only Eldrazi you can get here. And so, as you can see, there is the mix of them. So kind of a weird slot. You don't get many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you get one per pack, I guess, of these Eldrazi's because, 12 or... Wait, how many is in a case? Do you get one per 12 in a thing? 6? I don't know. We opened up how many packs total? 12 times 6. Okay, so actually, yeah, they're a lot more rare than that. So these suckers, though, they added to $36, and this is the one that was getting hit the hardest. These suckers have already lost half their value, these particular Eldrazi's, because they are in the Eldrazi commander deck. I mean, you get one of each of these cards in this version in the Eldrazi decks. And, yeah, because... Is there something about the Eldrazi collector not having proper treatment too? But this is kind of awkward that these are in this slot in collector's booster just as a regular old card. So that's worth $36. We'll go ahead and add $36 to our total value, which puts us at $927 for. I mean, again, $30 out of that slot, and they're selling too. Like people are liking these cards. That I think has a ways to go again. They've dropped again, like I said, 50% for that particular slot. Let's go ahead and find the other commander cards and get that out of the way, because again, commander cards kind of have I don't really like it with collectors. I get it's a way to get them in, but then it just oversaturates them. So this is another big packet. So this is all the cards over $3 but under $10 from the commander slot. So we have like Talongates, Planar Nexus, Sage, Broodmite Tyrant, Copy Lands, and you kind of go down the list, and there's quite a few of them. These are full arts. Actually, these are called Borderless. So the Borderless versions of these commander cards. And there's not every available commander card. There's only, maybe it is all the rares. I don't think so. I think there's like 50 of these that are available. And again, these are the ones that actually have dropped the most percentage-wise than any other card, because I think it is due to the fact that everyone showed that there was so much inverted EV or inverted value from the commander decks. You could just literally open up commander decks from Modern Horizons and make back like 2x, 3x your money by selling them with singles. And so, of course, when that happens, then the mass box openers, they end up filling that discrepancy, that arbitrage, and everything comes down to usually the commander decks end up being worth less than the cards that you were able to get out of them to sell. So this one's been hit hard. And so don't even quote me on this price right now, because many of these cards, by the time I release this video, might actually be worth less than this. So that adds another $81 to the mix of this, which then puts us at, where is my trusty little calculator, plus 81. We are at 1,000. So we've broken the 1,000 mark for the $1,008 is where we are at for the new total for the lot. Okay, so then we have starting to get on to the good stuff here. We have the cards that are worth over $10 from the Borderless. So we had the Borderless commander slot, now we have the Borderless slot for over $10 for the... Actually, let's do this one first. So here we have the under $10, but still over $3 of the Borderless cards. I think this is Borderless foils. So it's foils and non-foils. Yeah, foils and non-foils from the Borderless slot. And actually, when I was looking at there's very little, I think, difference between the foils and non-foils. Maybe there was. I'm not sure. But you have things like the Invert Polarity, the Guide of Souls, which had tons of sale data. There's actually quite a few that were pulled here. And lots of goodies in this little mix. Again, these are going to be the cards that have money that are under $10. And this little packet here ended up adding $130 to the mix. So again, I'm liking about this collector boosters, the money is really spread out. It's not like really in just a few chase things here and there, like grab a Blizaiju out of Kamigawa or bust, or Domineer was even worse. You had to pull a Sheoldred or you weren't going to get your money back. And so now we have another 130 to the mix. That's already putting us close. Well, we're getting there. Now we're up to 1,138 for the value. 1,138 for this sucker. And then we can get on to this other, let's get on to another big packet, which is going to be the cards that are over that $3 threshold that are what are called the those are extended, and these are borderless. These ones are called borderless. I always get it wrong with which are which. So these are the ones that don't have borders. The other ones are just called extended because they extend the border out. So this is under $10 of the extended, and there's $245 worth of cards in this slot, which is actually quite substantial. So you can see all the Crix, Son of Yawgmoths, and the Monumental Henges. And look at those dogs. Lots of dogs and power balances. I was actually surprised that power balance is worth money. It's actually worth quite a bit of money. It's the bundle promo. So you got to expect that sucker to come down too. So don't be banking on those cards too. And there's a lot of bundles in existence and gift bundles that will come out. And if knowing Wizards, they won't change the promo out of bundles because they're so stinking lazy that when they make their gift version, they don't do a damn thing other than put one collector's booster box in it. Rant over for that. But plus 245 for this sucker puts us at... Plus 245 puts us at $1,383. $1,383. Pow. And we are already close to breaking even here. All right, so now we have the cards that are over the $10 range from the extended. And these are where a lot of the good stuff. Now we're up to $160 just from this packet of cards. So the Harbinger of Tides, the Nethergoyfs, the Winter Moons, then you have the foil version of these two. It looks like it's funny, we got exactly one of each, so foil and non-foil, of the Winter Moon, Nethergoyf, and then we got this Fanatic of Ronus, which I do believe we had one too that was under 10. So it's like we got one of each, which is crazy. So I'm sure these suckers can be mapped in the long run if people had enough and open up enough. You could actually figure out the print runs of these cards, or the what am I talking about? The sheets. So plus $160 to this sucker is going to put us at plus 160, which now puts us at 1543. So we're definitely close. 15. Maybe we can actually get there. If I can upgrade my thing. 1543. 1543. Not 11,000. All right, so now we are getting very close to breaking even and haven't even got on to what I call the good stuff here. So let's see, what's the next big packet we can show? I think there's still some commander slots here, and then we'll get to the really good stuff. Oh, okay, here's a good one here. So here's all of the retros. So retros and retro foils, this big packet again, under $10 and over $3 of this packet. And a lot of cards like Recruit of the Guard, actually, that sucker's been printed so much. Psychic Frog. Actually, I don't. Maybe these actually, I got lazy at this point and didn't repackage them. So I think this is in descending or ascending order of what's worth money in here. You have like the Flare of Malices. And I was actually surprised at how cheap Toxic Deluge has got. All the flares are good. The Wheel of Potential, Necrodominance, like these cards, Psychic Frog, Flare Denials. Yeah, these are actually worth some money here. The Flare Denials and the Eldamari. Corvidals. So all these some of the retros do have multipliers, some don't. It's kind of awkward which one's worth more. Some actually have some significant amounts. So this packet here had $310, with mainly being like the Eldamaris and the Flares. So $310 will put us over now with a break even, I believe. So plus 310. We are now at, nope, not quite, 1,853. 1,853. So we are at basically almost the break-even point with getting through all of those slots. And now we get into kind of the good stuff where people do, where these slots actually do make some decent money. So let's start off with the commander cards. See, they're kind of the commander profile cards in foil. I think is what they call them. I can't remember what they call these exact ones. They're calling them Borderless right now, but I think there are versions where they have these profiles and where they don't. And so far, they are actually some of the ones that are the least well received. And all these are getting hit hard. This is another one, too, that has lost a lot of value. in the last few days. So all of these cards are in Commanders. And I don't know, again, are they in the collectors like this? I'm not sure exactly how they are in those decks of the collector Commanders, if they're at these profiles or not. But this whole packet of these cards here is worth 34 bucks. And if we go back and add the $34, we are close now. We're at 1887 of value from these cards. And again, I would say that this is typically the slots that are like, it's okay in the collector slots. We have now the Borderless of the Mythics that we get from the collector's boosters and from the main set. And this has $221 of value here. And there is some really good stuff in here, like the Colliers, the Vast. So there you go. There's a difference between these profile pictures and the non-profile pictures. And, you know, Soren even has like an extended here. We got Kozlik back in here, and the Oslet Pride, which is actually worth a pretty penny. And this Ugin's Binding, I think, was like 30 bucks, wasn't there? More, I think. So a lot of the money was right there from that particular card. But that packet had $221, which is actually quite significant in this here. So it's all the cards all the Mythics, all that slot was holding its value. The sales were great too. So now we are officially above the break-even point. We're now at $2,108 worth of value. $2,108 of value, and we are now into a profit of cards. And then, if that wasn't good enough, now we have the foil version of those. So the kind of the foil profile extended cards here. And this packet was actually, this slot was worth quite a bit of money out of these cards, of course. They're more of the chase cards here. Of course, if you do get lucky with this slot, you can make a pretty penny if you hit things like Ugins in this slot. They're worth like $100. But a lot of these cards were extremely valuable. There was $294 of value in that packet, which puts us now well above in the black, but in this version in the green, plus $294, which now puts us at $2,402. So $2,402 is the new with the slot of the kind of the profiles. I don't know exactly what you would call that. And now I have these packets where we're getting into the cards that were substantial amounts of money. The next slot would be these retro, kind of the retro of the yesteryear's Horizons. So you have things like the subtleties and the dress downs and Ragavan, Fury, Ragavan. So of course those slots are really good. Ragavan now gets this like 4th printing, I think. Endurance, Solitude, the Esper Sentinels, like all these suckers that they retrofitted from Modern Horizons 2. So these are all the chase cards. So again, be careful that your chase cards of the yesteryears will now be reprinted as retros in the future sets. But this had a substantial amount of value in those cards. All those cards see so much play in Modern and in Commander. Like Esper Sentinel is just such a mainstay in both those formats. And that adds $260 to the value, which puts us at $2,662. So we're well... 2,662. We're well into the profit margin at this point for the... And again, this is mainly using like TCG low for this type of stuff. Of course, you would have to take massive fees. Now I've got 2 other slots here. So, of course, we've been waiting for these ones. I have what's called a Medallion Slot. These suckers have been hit hard. They had the double printing with Commander Masters, and now with this one, as they've been introduced into Modern. And most of these are only worth like $5 each. Of course, the full art ones are worth more, but the regular cards are down to like $5 for most of these versions of cards. We have all of the medallions. You get quite a few of them. Like a play set on average of all of these. Like, looks like Ruby Medallion was the lowest, and Pearl Medallion. But yeah, the rest had 3 and Jet Medallion had 6. So you average it like a play set for a case for the medallions. And Medallion Slot was worth $157 in all of those. So again, some of these are like in the retro, could be if you consider it in the retro slot or whatnot. But I thought it'd be interesting just to show how many medallions you get, because as a store owner, do you know how many medallions I sell per week? Like every commander. Now that they're cheap, everyone is throwing them in every deck. When they were like $40 a piece, they didn't sell as often, but now we cannot, after Commander Masters, we cannot keep them in stock for medallions. And now they're going to be super cheap. It's going to be the same thing. So long term, if these can avoid like getting reprint after reprint, I think medallions are good little specs if you believe that they will not get a reprint. So what did we say we had? We had 2,000. Can't I just copy this? Hey, look at this. I can actually simplify my life by copying the calculator and then just pasting the value into here. Look at that. Okay, so that'll save some time. Now, of course, the ever-awaited all about the fetch. So all about the fetch lands here. So I've got all the fetch lands that we opened up, and you get about 3 to 4 per box. And so we have 4 Flooded Strands, almost one of each of every version. We have Bloodstained Mires of 3 of. We have 4 Polluted Deltas. We have 6 Wooded Foothills. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Windswept Heaths in a case. So you get about a playset, a little over a playset. Some of these had under a playset, right? No, they all had. No, yeah, Flooded Strand did. No, they had 4. Bloodstained Mire did not. Yeah, which isn't that the expensive one. But anyway, the value of all of these fetch lands ended up being $440. And these are coming down, of course, quite substantially, because they are the alloy colored ones that haven't been printed for a while. And they now are going to be the cheaper ones. So plus 440 puts us at 3,259. Of course, that is the slot that everyone expected to have the huge amount of value was going to be the fetch lands, because fetch lands are the kind of the bread and butter currency for Magic the Gathering. If you're a trader and you ever go to an event, if you just fill your binder full of fetch lands, you'll be able to find trades very easy. All right, so I guess I missed a slot here. This is over $10 for the extended, or for the borderless. So we have the Warren Soul Traders, the Flare of Cultivations, these Nadu Winged Wisdoms, and these Acts of Eternity. All these suckers are worth quite a bit. This one added $113 to the mix, which puts us at plus 113. Puts us at 3,372 on our total value. Kapow. And then now I have the last bit of cards here that we'll just slowly add in. These are what I pulled out to be the kind of these slots that were very rare, and they were all worth money. So first we have the Quorum. So I'm going to start a new calculator here. So we have the Quorum, which is worth $17 for Quorum the Undertaker, which is the etch foil of Quorum. And I only got 2 etch foil commander. The other one wasn't worth anything, but this was an incredibly rare slot. So out of a case, there was 2 of them. Then we have Grist and Tameo, which are these like the foil borderless of these suckers. So that adds another $40 worth of value there. And these ones are very interesting. We'll save the Ulamogs here, but these are what's called the see the texture that's glaring on these suckers. I've got them in sleeves and perfect fits here, but these are actually textured foils. So this adds $120 for the endurance and the subtlety. So there's a plus $120 there for those suckers. But these suckers, someone explained to me this in the comment section. These are also considered textured, but I can't see any texture on them. They have that rainbow foiling of them, but they don't have the same texture. But if you look them up on TCG Play, they're under texture. They have this kind of rainbowy foil. And if you compare them to the ones that are just the borderless foils of these, they have a different number in the bottom that matches their textured counterparts. And they definitely don't have the same foiling process. So I don't know if they call these like surge foils or exactly what they call them in this, but TCG Player's got them listed as texture foils. And this adds another $180 worth of value from these Planeswalker slots here. So it looks like you end up getting like a texture almost 1 per box is what or 1 per box is how it works with these. And again, this adds plus 180 with this. And then we have this one, which is called the Special Guest slot. And these end up being a little bit rare too. It looks like I got like 3 of them. A couple of them might have got, I know we have well, that's kind of weird because the textured ones are also special guests. So I don't know if they're in the same slots, and some can be textured, some can be not. But yeah, these seem to be quite rare too. We have a Dismember of Fury and a Persist. And the value of that ends up being $28 of these. And then it puts us to the big boys. So out of the 2 cases, we end up only getting 2 Ulamogs, which is the chase card out of this set. And of course, there's a serialized card for Kozilek, or is it for Emrakul? I can't remember which one it is. But Ulamog's is the card. This is kind of the valuable card in most of its forms. And it looks like the retro foil is worth 100 and the etch foil is worth 80. So quite a bit of discrepancy on this. People preferring the retro over the I can't think of the word I said. So anyway, these are worth 180 bucks here from the chase cards. So that is plus 180, which gives this pile here a total of $565 that we add to our running total. And if I did my math right, yep, we are almost at $4,000, $3,937 of value from this collector. Now, of course, might have got lucky with some of these, but there wasn't like some pulls that were just like out of this world. Like there are a lot of cards that we didn't get that were incredibly valuable in this. So let's add this total 3,937, I believe. I think that's what we said. Boom. Okay, so we take 3,937 and minus it by 1,920. And we end up with a total profit of 2017. 2017 for, again, this is a lot of work to sell. So before you all decide you're going to be, TCG Player Pros, $2,117, 2017, I think we had. Somewhere around there. Good $2,000 worth of profit is what we ended up with this case. What my patient ended up with this case. I did a lot of legwork for you, Mr. Steelwolf, so I hope you appreciate this. But I thought it made a pretty interesting video here of just breaking down everything you got from the collector. So tons of value. So again, this has to come down to Jesus. Otherwise, collectors do seem to have quite a bit of inventory out there. Wizards is pulling a fast one. They're releasing a little more. They're allowing distributors these little small restocks. These little here, have another master case to split around. And so I had an initial offer from my distributor of my allocations, and I was able to get a case a week now after that. Because they're considered like after allocations. We're already on week 2 for this. So they are being trickled back in. But you can see, if this is the case, people are just going to open up collectors. Now again, collectors, if we were going to put this at your TCG, so if we were to compare TCG and TCG, so if we go 390 times 6, you're looking at still 2,340 would be your cost at like TCG low of getting in on a collector booster, and that still puts a pretty chunk value around like $1,500, $1,600 of profit when all is said and done. And again, that is not terrible. You'd have to wait a while for these cards to sell. You got to think about if you're going to take between 20% to 30% off on fees, even more. A lot of times it depends on your tier level with TCG Player and how they sell. A lot of these are not going direct at this time because TCG Player does not have these cards to sell direct. And so you got to think of all the headache of that sort of stuff. But when all said and done, like this is just insanity levels of profit margins that we haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, even like Lord of the Rings, these suckers that were extremely profitable right out the gates, they collapsed very quickly. Like even by the time that the paint dried on the cards, by the time that the packs hit the floor, like the race to the bottom was insane. And these cards seem to be holding a little bit better value. Now, could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm actually going to be out of town on vacation for 3 weeks. When I come back in 3 weeks, I could check back at this video and be like, oh boy, did this not age well, and see that these cards are now worthless. But as of now, as of release of this set, this is some pretty decent margins just by cracking a collector booster. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, kind of different from what I typically do with these type of stuff. It was a lot of labor to go through this. Apologies for the lack of videos. Haven't been doing a lot of videos on purpose. Been planning this big vacation for years now, and I'll be out of town. I'm hoping to actually get some games of Magic in Moldova, the poorest country in Europe. I thought it'd be fun to go and check out the game stores there and see what the scene is like. Apparently, it does have a nice little gaming scene, so hope we can go to some of the game stores and do some footage there, and hopefully play some games of Magic or other board games or something with the locals and just have a fun time. But anyway, I'll be back in 3 weeks, and when I get back, I do plan on hitting this channel hard again. Now that it seems like kind of fun to be in the market, to be looking at the market, like the massive, I think like Wizard Coast is still doing shenanigans with secret layers and overprinting and whatnot, but I'm actually surprised at how much this market can take. And all it takes is Wizard Coast of not being absolute just madmen with their print runs, and the market does a great job of absorbing, and everyone can make a profit at that point. The stores can make a profit, the players can feel happy with their purchases and feel happy with their cards accruing value over time. And I think we're just in a better scenario than we were through 2013 and 2013. I say 2021 through 2023. Those are kind of the rough years for Magic the Gathering, of where they were just FOMOing everyone to death with just, set release after set release, and where was the end? And nothing was collectible. Everything was special. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with what are we on? Gone Rogue Games, Rogue Deck Builder, Rogue Market. That's what it is. Thanks for watching.